Gonna cover this one last time. I did this once before. It was years ago. Maybe the video wasn't really that great. And also the problem is that once time goes by and videos get buried, they tend to get forgotten about, overlooked. People don't look back and see them or whatnot. So I'm going to do this video and I'm going to throw it in the Vtec Killer playlist. And this is going to cover two topics. One, why you'll never get a base model head to operate on true Vtec with real Vtec cams and the right way, and the one fuckery way about going to try and make Vtec work on a base model head with real cams. All right, so first off, you're gonna notice this. The reason why I say you can't ever really properly work it. You see this spot right here, nice and empty. When you see a spot right here, got this big old fucking little holder thing. That's the spring that goes in there. That's the lost motion assembly. All right. So when we talk about 3-lobe Vtec, right? There's one rocker on this side, there's one rocker on this side, and there's one rocker in the middle that rides that spring until it's locked in place by Vtec. So that way both can go down at the same time on the big lobe that rides in the middle. Now, so right there, that's the reason why when you use the cams, because the Vtec lobe is in the middle and there is no middle rocker, you need to be able the Vtec lobe to activate. So the Vtec lobe to activate to be able to ride in the middle and to work, you have to use there's two methods really. There's this, fuck's sake. Use the one single rocker and the Vtec rides all the time. And then the other way is to do what I did with these right here that I haven't really tried to sell yet. The pin locked. You take the two intake rocker arms and you just lock them together. Now that rides into the second topic for this little video that some people have pointed out to me, and the reason why I don't talk about it is because I don't like the idea. And I think it's a little fucking stupid. I think that people are going through hoops and doing backflips and finagling shit and trying to get something when it really is just more affordable and better off for your tuning and the rideability to just buy a real Vtec head. Guys, this is an RBB head, K24. It's gonna give you better. It's gonna give you better results than a base model head for sure, and they're not that expensive. All right. So the other way to finagle this to make Vtec work properly on the base model head is what you do is you get the three lobe rocker arms from the real Vtec head. You put them on the base model head and you pin lock one side of those. So what you'll get is you'll have one rocker arms set. You'll have the lost motion assembly and one side locked in, and then you'll have one that's not locked in, right? So what you're gonna have is one lobe or one side that always rides on the Vtec rocker arm, and then one side that only partially opens. So you will still have technically a Vtec crossover. All right. Now I drove a base model head. I drove a base model RS6, and that concept works. The intake side, because you only have Vtec on one cam. And that Vtec cam has that two lobes like that too. So you have one lobe that's always riding on the high rocker from the Vtec and one that's riding on the low. And what most people are looking for when they're trying to do this is you're looking for that Vtec crossover, that bam, bam type shit. You're looking for sounds. And I understand this. I have the modern turbo car. Most modern turbo cars don't come with blow-off valves. This is a sore spot for me. It pisses me off. I'm spending a lot of money for a car, and now I get my turbo noises, right? So I understand. You want a Vtec car. You want a real Vtec car. You really want the Vtec crossover. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if you were already riding on the Vtec lobe to begin with, you're not going to have that big of a Vtec engagement. It's going to be single cam level, barely noticeable, because you're already riding on that to begin with, pretty much. You're only partially not on Vtec. And you're still going to need tuning, right? You can't this is not something you're just going to throw on these cars and get away with tuning. Oh, well, it's not fully locked in like the Vtec Killer, so I don't need to worry about the tuning part. Yeah, you do. You still need to tune. You're completely changing the way the car rides, the setup. You need to tune. So if you're trying to make big power on a base model without spending a lot of money, then Vtec Killer is a good way to go. But Vtec Killer is, you know, not the most practical for daily driving, and not because it can't be tuned right to drive right, because, you know, when these Vtec Killer cars have full exhaust on them and shit, they don't sound that crazy. You know, it's only the ones with the open header and shit that you see out here that are making all kinds of noise. So it isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world to drive like that. You're just not going to get the best fuel mileage. But then again, going from the Civic Si to the Type R, I'm not getting the best fuel mileage. Even beating the shit out of the Si, I was still getting like 270, sometimes 280 miles for a full tank of gas, mixed highway city driving, right? The Type R had almost a full tank of gas when I got it from the dealer. I got like 170 or 180 miles out of the full tank before I had to fucking fill up again, you know. And of course, yes, I was doing pulls because I just got the car. I'm trying to see what it can do, but you know, you're not gonna have, when you're stepping up in performance, that performance demands more fuel. You're not gonna have the same fuel economy with the, you know, if you want to keep your fuel economy good, then don't modify it, right? If you want performance, then just say goodbye to fuel and do the full-on Vtec Killer. Just do the full-on Vtec Killer lock-in. If you're mainly focused on, I want Vtec, then get a real Vtec head. Because if you do that 3-lobe rocker lock-in, it's going to be expensive first off. First, because getting the 3-lobe rocker arm assembly is expensive as fuck. All right? It'll be more often than not, you'll be able to find a complete RBB head, complete, for the price it would cost you to piece together the assembly to put on your base model car. So my suggestion would be saying, go with a head swap over doing a partial Vtec lock-in, or just go full Vtec Killer. Because if you go full Vtec Killer, it's going to cost you a lot less money overall for a quick budget upgrade. Anyway, this is one of those things that I don't like. People keep trying to find a way to make the Vtec Killer or the base model head work the exact same way as the real Vtec head, and it can't, because you just don't have the lost position assembly, so it's never going to operate in the exact same fashion the Vtec head will. All right, you can get it kind of close, but even then, I think the more often than not, if you try to do that shit and you get it to work properly and everything, you're going to be disappointed with your results. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say for this little video, and peace. Thanks for watching.